Okay.
So, good afternoon, everyone. It's Shelley Johns here, the healthy artist. I'm from Gympie, Queensland, Australia, and I actually have a special guest today, which I'm really excited about. I have Connie Cabaliza. She is from Frilete Activewear, and she's quite amazing. So basically, her goal is to help people embrace their uniqueness, which I really love because I'm always a little bit quirky and unique myself, and helping to be the catalyst for positive change in people's lives, which I just love all of that. So welcome, Connie.
Hey, thank you so much for having me. I'm really
Oh,
excited. I'm really excited.
me too. And so just how I met you was back in 2023. I was in Brisbane for a Herbalife event, and I bought this beautiful light pink dress, and I got ready for this formal evening, like it was a black tie event, and I realized that did not bring my special white underwear. So I had this black underwear which completely showed under the dress, and I was like, I can't wear this. So I went looking, and like I had like an hour, and I went, so where can I go? And I went all over the place. I didn't want to go too far away. And anyway, I went down to the markets, and you had your pop-up shop there. And
I don't
because
know how you thought that the market would be the perfect way to find an underwear. I actually have no idea, but hey.
But you were there, and you were really friendly and engaging, and gave me your full eye contact, which I always notice when people do that because it doesn't happen everywhere you go. So, you were just lovely to deal with. And then I got even though you didn't have what I wanted, it doesn't matter. I found what you were doing very interesting, and the fact that you're putting yourself out there, letting people know what you're doing. And so I got your business card, and then I went and liked you on Instagram, I think, and then Facebook, and I've been following you ever since and watching your journey. So that's how we met.
Yeah, it's been an interesting journey, and I can't believe it's like a year. I think we're talking, it's like a year since we've met in person, but like just continue connecting on like Facebook and stuff like that, and like on the phone. It's just been really good to have met in a market, if that market looking for what you were looking for, and now like thank you so much honestly for having me, and yeah, for doing this and even thinking of me.
Oh, my pleasure. And I love everything you stand for and what you're doing because, you're really putting yourself out there. And I do think that there's such a need for it. And I love the way you come across because it's very authentic. So I'm going to ask you a few questions. So one is just a little bit about yourself, like where do you live now? Because most people won't know this. So where do you live, and what's a little bit about your background?
Oh, okay. Where do I live? I am located in Brisbane. The brand has been birthed in Brisbane, with a lot of influence of who I am as a person. A little bit about my background is I would just go through this like as personally, I'm gonna break it down a little bit. Personally, I'm a sister. I don't have any kids. Fingers crossed one day I will. I'm also a firstborn, so that comes with its own responsibility. If you're a firstborn, hat to you, congratulations. I don't know why your parents kept going. They could have just left it to you, but it's all good. I am very, very close to my family, and that's my parents, my brothers and sisters, and my cousins and stuff like that. I'm very close to my family members, and we bring the best out of each other. We don't always get along, but hey, every family has its own challenge. But in saying that, we're very extremely close. I like to surround myself with people that add value to me, or I add value to them as well, and people that really are just amazing to be around. That's the space that I really have built myself to wanting to surround myself with. As I said, adding value is such a big important thing that I live for, and that means that everyone that I'm meeting is that. Professionally, I've got a set three in personal training. I used to do boot camps and stuff like that, but I haven't done that for a while and just trying to find a way to implement that into the business. But I am a PT. I've got a diploma in community service, hence why there is also this part of me that just cares deeply about people. I've got a bachelor's of social work, so deep inside of me there is a social work inside. And then career path, this is the exciting thing, although like I'm not practicing as a social worker even though I am trained, but I do a lot of community development, and that's how I have managed to really bring that social work part of things into it, and the PT, and I get to use a lot of my skills in that. I am in public service, so my full-time job, I am in public service, so I get to also use some of those like training and just getting to know people and connecting with people and all that, with everyone. I am also, as I was just introduced, I am also the founder of the brand Frilete. It used to be called Frilete Active, but it is Frilete now. I just go by Frilete, and it is a sportwear. As I said, it was birthed in Brisbane, and yeah, so that's where we are at, and it's just really a lifestyle that I want to live and that I want to bring within the in our everyday life, and that's pretty much a little bit of my background. I hope that I've answered a bit of that.
So you got so many things too, and you can see how they all interlink as well, which is really great. So,
Yeah.
so why did you start Frilete?
Why did I start Freely? Oh, personally, I saw a gap. I saw a gap and the lack of representation, especially within Brisbane, living inside a big city. And when we look at Australia altogether, Brisbane is the smallest one. It's one of the small cities. So, but there was a massive gap, especially growing up here, like coming to Australia. There was a massive gap that frustrated me and also annoyed me quite a little bit, and like left me outside. I've always felt like an outsider, and I did feel like I was part of this called multicultural space in Australia. So I saw this gap. So the reason why there was a Freely was birthed was because there was this an existing gap when I looked at a sportswear. Growing up doing sports and all that, it was always, if I was to look for something affordable or something that like a sportswear that I will be able to wear, it was always either having to go to Kmart, which doesn't always complement like a lot of my body shape, and I'm not always like I don't have the normal body shape that everyone has, especially a lot of African people coming from an African background. But I've always felt like it just wasn't the right fit. And I also wanted a brand that represented something more important other than just sport. And if I wanted to look at some of those bigger brands that had a message, that had a purpose behind it, I had to spend quite a lot, including, I always say it as I have to spend money, kidney, and everything as well. And I found it that they just was not something that fitted for me as well. And a lot of it, and again, that inclusion, I didn't feel like I was part of the community. And so one of the things that was very important was for me to be able to find or to really to birth a brand that made me part of the community and finding space, and where it's not that just going, oh, Australia is not a multicultural place. So even though we say we're multicultural, I wanted to do something about it. And that's how really like I fell into this space, and I really just looked at some of my own value and what I stand for and the way I live life. And I was like, you know what? I value some of the things that I do. And so why not bet that into a brand that is could could relate to other people as well who are similar to me or in that process. Yeah.
Oh, that's so cool. So it must feel really great wearing something that you know you've designed, like, like
Yeah.
you go to Kmart and buy something and wear it, but now you're wearing something that it's yours. That must feel pretty good.
Oh, sometimes I still pinch myself. I like, and I'm so random, and like sometimes I get a sale, and or I connect with people on, like, when I'm doing those pop-up store and somebody decides to talk to me, I'm just like, out of anybody you could have talked to, out of anybody you could have connected with, you've chosen to come to me. And it feels like I'm creating this space where someone can feel included in as well, and having the clothes to represent that, and having clothes that will be able to say, yeah, I'm here for you as well, and I'm here with you as well, and I'm gonna stand with you as well, and I'm gonna cheer you on whatever you're doing. Yeah, I still pinch myself because it's been a journey, and I'm super excited
I
for
could
what it is and what it's going to keep going to be.
Oh, for sure. I could see you having little videos of you wearing and doing those catchphrases that you just said, all the different things. You could have that and put that. I think that would be great because they'd be like powerful statements of you saying with your wearing what your own sportswear and doing that. I think that would be fantastic. I can see that happening.
Oh, thank you, thank you, thank you.
So,
Yes.
what is your so you had this idea and you brought it together. So, what is your your vision for the future, or your big vision? What can you see happening?
Wow. What I can see happening. Before I even go there, and I hope by me explaining this, I'll be able to actually lead into what the vision for the future would be, right? Um, it's, as I said, like the brand itself has been spaces where you can fit in and you can do something about being in this multicultural world, right? Which means that when I was creating this brand, there was three words that always came into mind when we were really creating the brand. Even the name itself has always been, I am African. That is something that I'm always going to be African. That's not going to be taken away from me. And I wanted to be in a place where there is freedom, and that should lead into me being free, and freedom is big part of it. And I wanted to live a life that has purpose, which is being in a life that has purpose. You needed a lot of discipline, and that's the athlete's world. Because I am an athlete, the third kind of like, it was a must to have it, and that's how I've birthed like Frilete. So me being African, the clothes or everything that we wear, the colors, I wanted to have the culture with it, right? A lot of our beliefs that we have as well, and the values that we carry. I wanted for it to have space in Australia as well. I don't know if that makes sense. And so the vision for me is to be able to walk on the streets and be able to have me and anyone that might look like me, or anyone that is closer enough to me, or somebody who is even from this multicultural world, can just feel that they can have space for their own culture to be there, for their own belief to be there, for their own the way of life, or the way they live life, to be there as well. So that's why, like, that part was such a big important part of it. And then I'll move to the freedom, or the free part of things, right? To be able to be free, if you've acknowledged everything that you have within yourself, right? The only thing that it does is bring freedom, right? You can't, it's like accepting yourself, digging deep inside of digging deep inside of what you are and who you are. And that from there, it should birth freedom, right? You should be free within. It doesn't matter the challenges that comes within you. It doesn't matter the barriers that you might carry, the fear, even like the wanting society to accept us, because we should already accept us ourselves. And from that, it should birth that freedom that nobody can take away from us within. And then obviously just the appearance of everybody coming in, because you will attract the people who are like that around you. And then and I hope that from that you should be able to have that purpose, to even find your purpose within yourself, or your passion and things that are very close to you. For me, it's been fashion, it's been clothes, it's been just finding like me sharing my message through what I'm wearing and expressing myself through that. And then the third one is that living an athlete's lifestyle, right? Living an athlete's lifestyle comes with a lot of determination, a lot of disciplines, perseverance. So that means that you have to bring all that to be able to be who you are. And that's the world that I would love to I guess to see, or the future that I would love to see and connect people in when they come into Frilete, or for me to be able to put Frilete out there into the world, is for them to be able to find their own space. I think when I talk about this, because I am religious as well, when you go to a new church, and this is just an example, when you go to a new church where people have grown up together, they've done a lot of things together, they've come to, like, they've been since they were like in Sunday schools or something, and now they're adult, they marry into each other. It's so freaking hard to be able to break free as a new person, to break into that community, right? And for me, the way I see this brand is that it doesn't matter whether you've just, like, you grew up, you started with us, it really does not matter, because any stages where you are, it's really about starting where you are, starting right now where you are, and finding a space that you're going to be accepted. And that's one of those things. And I feel like those elements of self-acceptance and building yourself and finding a community that does that for you, I feel like it's where you are. It doesn't really matter whether you have found people who are already like a journey away from you, but it's really like it's starting right now where you are from the beginning. So it doesn't matter which stage you are at. I don't know. So for me, the vision of this, it would be that to continue sharing that message, right? Because I know how it feels to be the outsider, and I never, like, it's such a weird feeling, and I never want anybody to just always feel like an outsider. Obviously you're gonna feel it always, but like having a space where you are always, you're gonna have somebody who knows that and is gonna believe that you are more, you bring something to the table as well, and you are important, and who you are, you don't need to hide, because the right people will find you where you are, if that makes sense in some way.
Oh, definitely. I've been reading the book by Jamie Kern-Lena on, it's called Worthy, and it talks a lot about the difference between self-confidence, which a lot of people have because it's on the outside and external, and self-worth, which is inside, and self-love and self-worth. So when you can put yourself in an environment where you can build your own self-worth, which then, like you said, nothing can take that away from you because it's internal. But sometimes we, and there's nothing wrong with confidence either, because a lot of athletes do need self-confidence, but it's a lot of external stuff that it requires. So yes, I do agree. And having that community and all those things in place, and if you can build self-worth in people, that's a huge impact. And that's really what you're talking about.
Yeah.
Yeah. Cool. Thank you. I'm loving all your everything you've been sharing so far. So what do you feel like your biggest challenge has been so far?
Okay. Biggest challenges, they've been quite a lot. Through this, it's been like just finding the support, because I feel like I am just tapping into this environment that I sometimes I just don't know. I don't even know where to start and all that, or even if finding the acceptance that will be there on the table. But challenge has been finding the right support, not just any support, but the right support, because I see the vision of where the brand is going. And therefore, it's so important that I have the right support that will stand by it, because other than that, we're just going to get lost and all that. I guess like connecting with the right people, although like it's been, I've connected with so many, don't get me wrong, I've connected with so many beautiful people, but it's an effort that has to come through. So, and I have to put quite a lot of effort. And even if I connect with one or two, for me, like it's been quite important to just connecting or staying in connection with those people, especially when they share the same interests. So that has been also a challenge, because like sometimes I'm like, why don't I just have the volume of people to just come and like maybe rescue me or something? But at the same time, I'm having to remind myself I need this small amount, because at the same time, I am learning something about myself. I'm learning something about the brand, and I am also knowing or learning what I need, what type of support, because sometimes you can have all this support, but you don't know what to do with it. So therefore, it's support wasted, but also not utilized the way that it should be. So that has been quite a big challenge. Financial as well has been one of major one, because again, I am self-funded. So that has been quite a big challenge. And I feel like everyone who is starting a small business, financially, you always have to find different ways or different avenues to be able to get funds to continue growing. And there is a lot of opportunities where you can get connections and stuff like that. But at some point you do need funds. So financially, that has been quite some challenges that I have faced. Another one is just being people opening their doors. For some people, it's been easy for them to just say yes. I believe in what you're doing, but for others, it's been like a lot of door knocking, a lot of no's have been like, sometimes I'm just like, I'm kind of tired to hear so many rejection, but I think at the same time, it's okay for people to reject you because you can't attract everyone. And if you're not the right fit, there is no reason for you to be in there as well. So there's been a lot of no as well, and yeses, and the yeses that have come through out of it, it's been like really amazing and moving. And sometimes I'm just like, I can't believe we're here. So yeah, finding people who truly believe and not just say I believe in you and the brand and what you're saying, where it's not just words, but truly believe in it, has been quite a big challenge. So those are a few challenges that I've kind of faced through this. Yeah. But I feel like that's what anybody who is running a small business might also experience. So I'm not special.
Yeah, I think having no's and rejection is definitely all part of it for sure. And sometimes it takes time to get that thick skin if you haven't had it before.
Yep.
And knowing that no isn't no forever either. And also that just because maybe someone's offering support, it may be you still get to choose what level of support you need and what type of support you need, because not all of it's probably going to serve you either. So especially if it's not in alignment with your values and where you're heading. So, and that's all part of the process, because I used to say yes to everything. I couldn't say no, but that didn't serve me. It was actually stronger to say no sometimes.
Yeah, 100%, 100%. That is true.
So, but
How
yeah.
have you been able to deal with it, by the way? Like just the rejections?
I think when I first started, because I was only 20, it probably crushed me. I would lose my nerve and I was very shy. So I think having the community, so I had an environment of people around me that were encouraging me to step forward, so that even if I was scared, I would still do it. And there was times I was just petrified. And then just working on myself, lots of personal development and learning how to overcome that negative voice in my head that would go, oh, they're going to say no, or that's not going to happen, and learning how to quiet that voice. So I just used to imagine that whatever the negative thought was written on a piece of paper, and I'd scrunch it up in my mind and throw it away from in a bin. And and
before.
reframe. And it took me a little while to do that, but it was definitely worth it. I don't have that issue now because I'm quite optimistic and positive, and I probably have very big thinking, like the possibilities. So it's just very natural, but at the start it was hard. So I think it's just something it has to become a habit.
Yeah. And you have to go through it, right? Like you have to go through the process for you to be able to understand what the rejection means for you. I think I was listening to a podcast that was talking, I think it was an interview sort of thing, and they were talking about what does rejection actually means for you. It's not just the word rejection. It could be like when you reject me, it means I do not have a place where I belong, or rejection also means something else. Like, and I like going in depth. It's a better understanding of who you are and what like that actually mean, and like it can also provide places of healing, if that makes sense. So yeah, it was really interesting just listening to that.
And when they're rejecting you, they're actually not rejecting you. There's a reason why it's not right for them now. And
Yeah,
if you leave them feeling good about you and your company and themselves, then when they
yeah,
are ready, guess what? They'll probably come back because you were able to do that. And I probably haven't always done that right in the past, but now that I'm more experienced and more mature, and I understand that there's timing for people, and if you allow that space around them for them to then feel okay to come back, because sometimes people might not want to return for whatever reason. So I think it's those sort of things, and that's all experience.
yeah, 100%. That's all good.
So what is your proudest moment so far?
Oh, it's quite simple for me. It's the fact that I'm still going.
Yes.
I didn't think I I would make it this far. And I didn't think that I will be able to find the passion that I have. And I didn't think that I was going to be able to serve people the way I intend to, or the way I have been connecting with people. Um, Having always had the heart of adding value, I didn't want that to be a waste. So the fact that I'm still existing and I'm still like, and I can see so many ways of how I can add value and how people can add value to me as well. And I can be in such an environment. For me, it's such a proud moment that brings so much joy. And I get to go to bed just in awe of like how this is all happening. It's been quite an amazing journey, like obviously with challenges and everything, but the fact that I can still face it and get up in the morning and still find my own purpose, and I can still find why I'm doing it and how important it is, especially in today's world. It's been such a privilege to me. So yeah.
I think having that gratitude too is, that's when you're grateful, it's like that just brings in more good things.
Yeah, 100%.
That's so good. And so if you were just starting out again, or you knew someone that was maybe just about to start what you wanted to do, what advice would you give either your younger self or someone that was just starting this journey?
Okay, I have written down embrace your inner warrior, right? And that's one of the Frilete values, right? Embrace your inner warrior. I look at it as there is so much strength within me or within each person, right? And the world need that. And whatever you're bringing to the table, you are only adding on, right? And when you are choosing to follow your purpose or follow your passion and things that like that you are wanting to put out there, it's okay for you to actually embrace what you bring. Like you shouldn't have to be ashamed. You shouldn't have to go and hide away from that, because this world needs you to be the world that it needs to be. So yeah, for me, I think that would be very important, because I think at the very beginning, it took me quite a long time to accept, or to accept and be okay that this was something that would be something that I would follow, and I'll be able to find passion. And it wasn't because I didn't want to do it. It was just because of what would this person think? How would these people think about me? And would this be a good representation of this? And if you know much about the culture that I come from, it's like there is like, it's very community based, and it's always like you just don't think about yourself. Sometimes you have to think holistically, and sometimes, although you're bringing everyone together, but you have to dig deep on what's inside, what has been provided to you inside, for you to be able to shine and to add to the community itself that you're valuing. Otherwise, we're all just uniform and looking at the same thing, and it just does not make sense. So for me, it would just be to embrace whatever the strength that you carry, or that I had carried inside of me, and not try to shy it away, if that makes sense.
No playing small. Yes, definitely. That's wonderful. Thank you. And so tell me a bit about this photo that I've just put up.
Oh, wow. So as I said, I've always been into modeling, and these ladies have been literally, they've stood by me from the very beginning, even when I didn't know I was going to do this, the sportswear. But I've always been into fashion, doing modeling and supporting other people. So I was always been one of those friends who, if you needed something done, you can always rely on me, and you can always be, you just call me and I'll show up for you. And one of these, this here, it's funny how you ask. It was a last minute. I had just ran, oh no, I had just walked 17 kilometers that weekend for Oxfam, and I was raising money for that. And a friend of mine had called me up, and that's her brand, that's the clothes that she had. And she had called me up and she said, Connie, I need a model, and are you available? I'm like, I can't walk. I've just walked 17 kilometers and I've spent a whole night up. But at the same time, if you like, for you to call me is because you need me. So I will come through. And I went through and I met some of these ladies at the same time, and they have changed life for me, and they've just stood by me as well. And when I wanted to do some stuff for myself, they've come through and they've just stood by me as well. And so for some reason, it's just like that. There's a power in just meeting people and connecting with people for me. So yes.
Well, I think I saw you in a music video as well.
Yeah, so I do a bit of modeling. So yes, so whenever friends or people are doing something amazing, I want to stand by them, and if I can do anything, I will go for it. And music video was one of those.
Oh, I think that's another good catchphrase. If I can do anything, I'll go for it. So you got lots of them in this this interview. So what is your favorite quote or your favorite book?
Oh, favorite quote has been transform you now for better tomorrow, and it is one of my own. And it hasn't come from anybody else, but again, it's one of my own. And the thing that I've said for Frilete has is just transforming you now for better tomorrow. And anyone, if you have your own way of transforming your now to better your tomorrow, is what this brand represents, and what this brand is trying to do. Is trying to do that for me. Like everything that I'm doing today, I know it's going to transform what my tomorrow is going to look like, but I have to start it right now. I have to do it today. I can't just sit on the chair and expect life to change for tomorrow. And anyone can define that in their own way. If you dig deep and you're trying to find what you're trying to change about tomorrow, whatever your circumstances is, and I do not put down people's struggle, because life is real. It is absolutely real. But if you keep it simple as well at the same time, and you transform the one thing today, you can change your tomorrow. And that's what I stand by.
Awesome. That's so good. And so tell me a bit about this photo.
Oh, we did. Okay. Oh, you just want me talking. We did a fashion show because I like it is clothes wear. So we were invited to showcase some of the clothes that we have. And so I do a bit of runway, and fashion is one of the things that I want to be able to have in this brand. And so it was just talking about the brand itself, just a little bit about like what the brand is, and also having a runway. And so these amazing human beings were the people that stood by me, and also were modeling for the brand as well. So they've been absolutely amazing supporters. Again, the people that I've just met along the way that just truly believe in. When I say people who are just truly believe in you or believe in something that you do, you can't put words to it, and you can't fake it, if that makes sense, because people will just come through for you. And these were the group of people that have also come through for me. And it's nice to have the support that I've got.
It's like finding your tribe.
Yes, 100%.
Which is kind of cool. And
yeah,
I know that I had a video before I finish off on my last question for you.
yeah,
This was a video of you with your pop-up shop. I'm not sure where you were. You might have been in Brisbane at the markets, maybe, where I met you. So this is it here.
yeah. Yeah, so with
It's
that
only a
one,
5-second video, but you can see how you got it all set up with all your stuff and wares, which is great. And it definitely reminds me of when I first met you. That was very similar setup, right?
yeah.
And I'll just go
100%.
back to your activewear so you can showcase it. And so to finish off, what is something random that you love that maybe no one knows about you? Can be anything.
Oh, I am very, I'm actually very shy. Something random. I'm actually really, really shy. It takes quite a long time for me to I guess get comfortable with people, even though sometimes when I'm at the markets, I have to actually put the energy out there. So I find that I tend to hide into my shell. So after I've gone outside and all that, I'm actually just really extremely shy, and I want to keep to myself. But there is nothing that I can achieve by myself. I need everyone, and I need the tribe to be able to do everything. So I am learning the power of community as I go, and everyone else. So yes, that's something random that people might be like, oh, but you're out there all the time. But yeah.
Yeah, so I am naturally shy as well. And it's actually very common for even quite high achievers and people that are in the limelight to be introvert extroverts, which means you're extroverted when you need to be. So when you said you've got the markets, you've got to bring the energy. Sometimes you can burn your energy up very quickly because of that. So you've got to make sure you replenish and have that self-care. So it's actually very, very common, in fact, that personality type. But obviously the world needs all of us in all our different forms as well.
Yeah.
So where can people find you?
Okay, so where can people find us? So we are on Facebook. So Frilete itself, we are on Facebook. So if you just type in Frilete, and that's Frilete.
Yes, we can see it here. I can see it just under your picture here. Yes, that's the spelling for people.
Yeah, so if you do want to connect with us, you can just type that in all the platforms. So Facebook, Instagram, TikTok. We are also on LinkedIn, not as active, but we are there. Threads, we're there, and YouTube as well. So hopefully one day I'll be able to do one of these and be able to also
Yes.
upload it there, and even this video, I hope. So we're also on YouTube. We do, like, you can email us. I know that email is such a big thing as well, especially professionally as well. So if you contact on sell@frilete.com.au, you can still reach out to us. Our website is also one of the best way to do that. If you go to www.frilete.com.au, that will be great. Subscribe to our email list, which we do send out here and there. And yeah, you can find us and everything as well. One of actually another thing that I'm trying to do as well with the brand is that every time I talk to, I do like a small talk, or I get invited to talk, which I have had the privilege of doing that as well, is reach out and build that community as well. And which means that I get to ask people if they would like to connect with me and have a coffee with me, or just have a phone call where we just talk about our own passion and how important that is, and how I can be at service if I can, or I can find someone who can be at service. So, and that's also one of the things that I do. So if you just go onto my Instagram as well, and you want to just go and talk to me directly where it's not business related, I am always open to that. And you can find me at consulate dot Lisa as well. If you're looking it up, I'm sure you'll put all those details on online as well, and you can just message me directly, DM me, drop into my DMs. I'm all for it. I will reply.
So cool. And I definitely would love to have you up in Gympie, and coming to the centre and being out in the community and showcasing what you do and helping to expand that community and your impact, reaching and giving more value. So it's so cool. So just to finish off, and I know it's probably a little bit random, but so tell me a little bit about what's happening behind you in your office, because I know you said. So tell me what's behind you. I just want to know, because I can see clothing and that, and now you've told me your fashion background. So tell me a little bit about what clothing's behind you, just randomly.
Oh my God, it's a mess. I can't believe you've just put me on the spot like that. I've got some clothes. I've got some t-shirts,
Yes.
tank tops for women, t-shirts for men, which
Yeah.
you can find on the website as well.
Yeah.
I've got tank tops for both men and women as
Yeah.
well. They're there. There is some singlets as well there, and some shorts. So everything is just on display. Right there is like my board that I write everything on, and I scribble everywhere. And the background there, you might have probably see my background, which we record most of our content
Yes.
as well. That background, this office is
Nice.
an office. It's everything. It's like my whole life.
I love that. I love that it's all there, because it's, like I like to look and see, and I can see that you've got some yellow, because I love yellow. Yellow is one of my favorite colors.
Oh,
So I can see you actually have some yellow in your range, which is very exciting.
Yeah, there's everything that happens. It's a mess, and I really do apologize.
I just saw your eyes. It's like she's asking me to.
I cannot believe you're doing
Because
that.
it's real and it's you, and it's just all of that, just to see that little bit of snapshot into your life, and to see, like it's your work in progress and everything that's really happening. So
It is a process, honestly. It is a process. And I think running a small business, it is a process, and you just have to go through it, and you just have to keep working out what works and what does not work. But the power is in doing the thing rather than because if you don't do anything, nothing is going to move. So it's about just doing the thing and just finding your feet and finding what works for you. And then you might get an opportunity where someone will tell you, oh, how about this? Have you thought of that? And you're like, oh, that could work. Or no, that will not be able to work. But that's what a reflection of what we do is.
Definitely. That's so good. Well, I'm very proud of you. Thank you so much for sharing your journey and your passion and a bit about yourself, and definitely looking forward to building our relationship and friendship and helping you to make a bigger impact. So I really appreciate it. I'm sure people get so much value out of this, and looking forward to having some of your range at the centre eventually as well, because we have a lot of people in Gympie that are exercising and there's not always a lot of range here. So to have something that really has that great message behind it, I think would be fantastic. So thank you very much, Connie.
No, thank you so much for having me. You're doing amazing and keep doing this, honestly. Yeah, giving us a platform to share who we are. Thank you so much.
My absolute pleasure. So I am going to finish recording, and yeah, thank you, everyone.